You know, I'm very impressed with you guys. You were able to get everything I asked done within 2 days. This tank looks genuinely good. We just need to get the armor package working and some pool floaties and some pool noodles to put on the tank to make sure it can float in the water. I'm sure we can make that work. And then it's ready to go. But I think you've earned yourself some more salt. But it should be said when we get to testing that if it's in the water or not, you probably might want to get a will together just in case something happens, you know, you never know. I'm not doing it on purpose, I swear. But regardless, you have earned yourself some salt for getting this all done. And we've got many topics we can choose to cover this time around. We could look at Starfield, the Xbox showcase that's coming up relatively soon, and the Helldivers stuff, so I thought maybe we could just cover this all in one video. I mean, there's not really much salt to go around when it comes to Starfield, as I don't think anyone's ever going to defend that. It took them a whole 11 months nearly just to add some of the most basic features to the game, and apparently we're getting the DLC at the end of the year. Well, I kinda summarized all the Starfield stuff, we might as well just go move on to the Xbox showcase. We're gonna start off with a tweet from the Xbox head herself, Sarah Bond. Save the date for the Xbox showcase, June 9th at 10 AM PT, followed by the Call of Duty Direct. Our teams and partners are working hard on our first showcase featuring games from our studios across Activision, Blizzard, Bethesda, and Xbox Game Studios. I hope you can join us. And as you can see there, the big point that everyone keeps talking about is how there's a green heart and a blue heart. And that is pretty much the entire reason why people think this is more about PlayStation than Xbox. You know, really schizophrenic thinking. Because only those extreme fanboys will take it this far to actually think that. You know what? How about we let these tweets speak for themselves, and let's see what you think about them. This first tweet is from Japan Hates Xbox, and it was a reply to Sarah Bond's tweet. What can we, PS5 gamers, expect? We are a part of the Xbox family as well, remember? We all play, we all win. Please show us the next wave of PS5 games. Starfield, Hellblade 2, Halo MCC, Gears of War, would all be ideal candidates. Weren't you the exact same guy saying how you never wanted Hi-Fi Rush on your platform, but the moment that it came to your platform, it was the best Japanese game that you've ever seen. It was one of the best games you've ever played, and yet you turn around and say you don't want any of these games, and then you ask for them. If you wanted this you moment, here's a good example. Is this you? And is this also you? The thing that scares me the most is that there is less than a year difference between both of these tweets, and he shared those with full confidence. Our next tweet is from the Red Dragon. Dear Xbots, take heed. You have been warned by your leaders. Sarah uses a green and blue heart, #whole slate. If I were you, I would look in your backyard, because it seems like all your games will eventually come day and date to PC, so I don't know about you, Red Dragon. This doesn't look good on you, and you're only taking it out on Xbox when you're not even looking in your own backyard. So those were pretty much the only two tweets that I could find around these two situations that are actually worth commenting on. So I think it's time that we move on to the final topic, and the biggest topic of this video, which is Helldivers 2. And the reason why it's become such a big topic is because people don't want to get a PSN account, which PC players don't need to. I don't know why Sony is even bothering with it. But pretty much, if you don't leak a PSN account, you can't play the game. Regardless if you purchased it on Steam or not, you cannot play. And people have many problems with this PSN requirement, from security issues to not even being able to make an account in other countries. And if you want a list of those countries, I'll leave this up for a little bit and you can pause the video. And the other reason why people are very upset with this change is that Sony cannot be trusted as security, as the main excuse when talking about this was the security that this would give you, even though the anti-cheat has access to a rootkit for your PC. They have a very invasive anti-cheat, but somehow they need more security to ban people for hacking, as that was their excuse from both community managers and the official post you just saw a little bit earlier. I think this Steam review gives you a good example on why the excuse of doing this for security purposes is an absolute lie. And with these many times that they've been hacked, and why should I trust Sony if they've been hacked this many times to keep my data safe, especially when they're the same people asking for some pretty big information for account creation. I didn't know this, and it makes me not even want to create a PSN at all. And apparently, games like Ghost of Tsushima, the only game that I actually wanted, actually has this requirement for the multiplayer component, I believe. So guess what? I'm not purchasing the game anymore. I guess you lost yourself a buy there, Sony. Good job. And as you can see, PC players are pretty much all in agreement that this is something that we should do, review bomb, as it's the only way that we can truly make companies listen alongside criticizing every decision they do. And I'm sure Sony will either acknowledge it or probably not change it, who knows. But usually for the most part, if PC players want something, we can usually get our way. Just look at what happened with War Thunder last year when they tried to implement the economy change. The amount of people that downvoted that game and review bombed it made the developers absolutely lose it. But then again, those are the developers, not a parent company. And it also should be said that the community managers aren't doing their job in helping to manage the community or make anything easier on the community. They're just doing stuff like this, and I will show another tweet later that shows what else this same community manager has said, but pretty much this is a good example. Now that I've given you context for about the last 3 minutes to this situation, we can finally get into the salt, because this is where the fun truly begins. We have another tweet from Japan Hates Xbox. Yes, we'll be seeing a lot of him in this video. Sorry, PC beggars, but this isn't your game at the end of the day. You're just dead weight who came along for the ride. Make a PSN account and stop crying. You ain't entitled to jack shit from Sony. That means Sony is not entitled to my money, Japan Hates Xbox. Neither are they entitled to that 60% PC player base. Because guess what? From what it looks like, PC makes up the majority of Helldivers player base for most of the days. Looks like a lot of people are going to be leaving, and it's only you guys that need to prop up the game then. So that's entirely up to you. We're going to put our money elsewhere, and if you're Australian, you can get a refund regardless of playtime for any major changes of the games. It's under Australian consumer protection laws, so there you go, have fun. We have another tweet from Japan Hates Xbox. Helldivers developers hate PC. Smiley face. Keep treating PC players like trash. They ain't welcome in the Helldivers community. Buy a PS5 and quit whining. Also, you can see another Discord message from the community manager, so there you go, that's what I was on about earlier. You know what's funny, Japan Hates Xbox? You know what's really funny? If they don't have enough PC players, they lose their position in the top PlayStation games. It's the PC players that are carrying this game, not the PlayStation players, because it says that over, I think there's around 150,000, and around 100 to 110,000 people were all on PC playing the game. That's how big the difference is. There are more people on PC playing the game than PlayStation. That should not be surprising at all, since PC has pretty much the largest player base out of any platform. But to say that they don't need a PC, they definitely do if they want to keep their momentum going for the game, and they're gonna lose it all if Sony continues. And the only reason why I think Sony is doing this is because they want to bolster PSN numbers by saying, hey look at how many people we have on PlayStation or under our network. And this is probably because Sony wasn't able to reach their target goal of console units sold. Anyway, let's just move on to the next tweet. Our next tweet is from JDub. PC dudes woke up like Steam, Epic Games, Ubisoft Plus, GOG, EA Play, Game Pass, PSN. Oh my god, how dare they. I kinda wanna mention this one thing that I saw quite often on Twitter is how people are comparing PSN and Microsoft accounts for some reason, like, oh, well, why is it a big problem for you to connect to a PSN when I have to use a Microsoft account to play Sea of Thieves? You wanna know why that isn't a problem for PC players? That's because most of us have a Microsoft account to activate our Windows, and alongside that, Microsoft accounts offer a lot of utility. You want to use Officeworks? You need to have a Microsoft account. You want to sign into a lot of the applications you may use day to day? You can use a Microsoft account for ease of access. They're not just an Xbox thing that you can use it for many other platforms, but for some reason you can't understand that. And I'm calling out all those individuals that are saying it on Twitter repeatedly. You know who you are. Our next tweet is from JTech. PC players never like Sony. Sony should remove all their games from PC immediately. Just like how you should be banned from Twitter immediately for sending things to developers to get early access to God of War Ragnarok gameplay. We have another tweet from Japan Hates Xbox. One solution is to pull the game from sale on PC. It's clear that entitled dumb fucks on PC don't deserve PlayStation games. Hey, PC gamers, no one cares what you want. Go back to your little point-and-click RTS and Counter-Strike 1.6 if you don't like it. Well, if there's one individual, well, an entire corporation that it would genuinely hurt, it would be Sony, because within the next couple of months when they look back on this, they're gonna wonder to themselves, was this all really worth it? Was doing all this stuff to make people annoyed and upset really worth going through all that as a decision to lose a whole bunch of money from the PC community? Because if they continue to do this, they're not going to make any money, no matter how much they keep trying to say they will, because nobody wants to waste their time signing into an account. That doesn't mean anything, and it's just a giant security risk, especially when you were given the opportunity to not use it from the start, and for some reason now it's okay and people defend this for some reason, and even though I know it's a very small subsection, I don't know why you would bother defending it as you don't gain anything from it. What, it makes your company look a little bit better? It doesn't make their games better. So I want to know, what is the reason why you defend this? Oh, that's right, you're a fanboy. Our final tweet is from a guy by the name of Darkborn. I want to see you refund all the other publishers' games too: Ubisoft Games, Rockstar, EA, Xbox, Bethesda, Warner Bros, and Blizzard. You need to refund them all and call them out, or you're just a hypocrite. You know what's funny about this? He's not a hypocrite. He's doing exactly what should be done, because guess what? All those companies that you said in there at least have the common decency to tell you on launch that you need to make an account. But guess what? Everyone else did it except Sony. That is why there's an issue. He's not a hypocrite because he doesn't want to make an account. He's doing it because he was never told to make an account, and now all of a sudden he has to make an account. Can you see the problem? Okay, maybe you can't actually see the problem, you may be a bit blind, but I'm sure you can understand why people are doing this now. We never had to do it in the beginning of the game's release, and now we have to do it because Sony's feeling a little bit greedy and wants to make their console look a little bit better on the stage of their investors. And it's coming at the cost of PC players that have no desire nor care to want to make a PSN account. It may look like nothing at the beginning, but you give them an inch and they'll take a mile. And as I was about to finish recording for this video, a new bit of information has just come out. Sony officially stopped selling Helldivers for certain countries, meaning that if you've purchased it, you no longer can get it anymore if you choose to refund it. So it's really up to you what you want to do with that information. But it's good to see that Sony's not going to change their way and double down on this very terrible decision. A good way to kill off a game in its entirety. Good job, Sony. I guess the last thing I really want to discuss is the community managers, because for some reason they thought it was a good idea to not get into the trenches and actually help people. Two of them in particular bothered to private, protect, and delete their accounts to avoid handling any of the situation. Because, oh no, people asking questions is too much for them. But then again, those two had the they, them, and the fucking trans flag, so I wouldn't have expected them to do much and they're going to come back and blame the community for whatever random excuses. But regardless, I want those guys to get fired, because if you're not going to do your job and calm people down, what's the point in you being a community manager when stuff like this happens again? So that's all I have to say. This is the end of the video. Hope you all have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Help me reach 2,000 subs. Goodbye.